Greetings and welcome to In-Depth. I'm Dike Rostant. We are at the venue for Kaiso House in the Savannah. Very happy to be speaking with the reigning Calypso Monarch, Tazea O'Connor. We're going to have an idea of some of the background, what he's doing presently, and taking a peek into the future as well. Stay with us. Mr. O'Connor, thank you so much for making the time. Especially we inside the thing now, we're getting ready.
Yeah.
But congratulations. I also want to ask, how has life changed since that announcement that you are the person, you are the monarch, the Calypso Monarch?
Well, I wouldn't say it has changed a lot. I would say opportunities have gotten better, and we're always grateful for that. But in terms of family life, friends, I've always had good friends. I've always had good people around me. So you know, sometimes when you come into a larger sum of money, you have to change some of your friends because they would use you. I never had that. I never had to go through that because I always had good friends. So nothing much has changed besides opportunities, and we are grateful for that.
Okay, I'm grateful as well, because sometimes people say that money will not change you, but it will just kind of amplify who you are. So that also says something about you. But I want to ask about the relationship between your father and yourself, though. It's about 11 years span from one monarch to the other.
Yes, yes. 11.
So is it a matter of feeling as though you're in shadow because you have a JNR, a junior, or is it a little friendly rivalry, or is it something, a matter of, okay, well, I did this, it worked for me, it might work for you. What is that relationship like?
It's exactly what you said, a friendly rivalry. That's our little competition at home, because this year we're getting ready for competition, and well, I'm already in the finals. So I'm helping him get in the final. I'm helping him get in the finals also, although he's very much capable because he's been there long before me. But you know, sometimes I would tell him, don't do this, because we don't do that again. and we do it. That's our thing. He would watch me perform and he would say, don't do that. That ain't looking good. And I will tell him the same thing. I think it's a friendly rivalry, because sometimes people would tell us, you're better than your father, or your son better than you. And we don't really have that kind of energy at all. It's never like that. We don't care who better. It's never like that, because to me, it's not about whose voice is better or who could do on the stage better, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. So it's more of a kind of friendly, family kind of rivalry. We do it for fun.
And it's also, it can be an interesting thing, not necessarily on the best side, the ideal side, to have voices from the outside to tell you something when you at one position, because life is a thing that goes up and down. But to have someone who's interacted with you, like you said, from inception, who may know some of the darker parts that you're very happy that people don't know about, and able to applaud and support when people are seeing some of those brighter aspects is really something that is, I feel a lot of people could almost like jealous.
They should be.
But, and does that even happen on stage? I mean, in terms of like, what is that experience like being in the same tent? Because if it was me, I might want to go a little further from my father. Because people still call me Mr. Simon's son from time to time. And that is something that I walk with and deal with differently. But that experience in the tent, you said to me it's
a good experience, because they still call me Dwayne Son. Plenty of people don't know my name. So when they see me, they say, use Dwayne Son. I say, yeah, no problem. Because I am Dwayne Son. I can't be nobody else's son. I am Dwayne Son. And being in the same tent, I think it's fun. He sings in the first half, I sing in the second half. By the time he's finished singing and it's my turn to sing, they already forget his song and they're onto my song. So it's not like, it's nothing that we're gonna just compare each other or be in competition constantly intense, and it's never like that.
But the fact that you said you're already in the finals, do you feel pressure, be it pressure to repeat or pressure to place a certain level? What is that thought process like?
Well, I'm definitely feeling pressured, because I'm thinking everything I do this year, they would compare it to last year. right? They already compared to what my father does. So they would compare it to what I did last year. And it is more so nerve-wracking to defend because you don't have a chance to feel out competition. You know, like you don't have to sing for the judges, for the preliminaries, you don't have to sing for the semi-finals. So you don't know what the judges think of your song. You just know what the audience thinks of your song, and the audience is not judging you. So now when you're on the final night, it's like you're just leaving it all in God's hands, yes.
But how do you draw on experiences past? Because we see individuals who have come up through Junior Calypso and the way that kind of helps them mold and shape versus some people who they might, I don't want to say wash your foot and come, yes, but their experience is not as long and it's not as deep. Are there any things that you draw from just growing up in it, for want of a better term, that you use and you see it and you consciously you're using it right now?
Oh, definitely. With Junior Monarch, things like diction. Diction is very important in Calypso, right? Because you want the audience, you want the judges to hear what you're singing about, right? In Junior Monarch, I would have to say, my diction in Junior Monarch as compared to now is way, it's gotten better. And that is something that I would go back and I would listen to myself sing and I say, but nobody not hearing what you're singing. So you need to enunciate properly, you need to project properly in terms of using the stage. Junior Monarch also uses the March Gras stage, that big stage for the March Gras. So I would have gotten practice in Junior Monarch because last year was the first time I entered the big ring. The first time I entered and made it straight through and won the Calypso Monarch. So I took my experiences from Junior Monarch and from looking at many of the greats like my father, Karina, Chuck Gordon, all of them, and utilizing that on the night of the March. And I think that's what kind of propelled me through.
And you spoke about diction. Are there other things that you find yourself a little more relaxed with? There's an analogy like people playing sports, sometimes after a little time has passed, it's almost as though the game has slowed down. Do you find yourself being able to lock in on specific things? The way we spoke about enunciation, there's a little extra emphasis that you'll be able to almost like play with a word and be having fun on stage. What are some of those things like?
Of course. And I think, and it comes, this year you will hear it a lot in this song because this song has a lot of room to do runs and riffs and stuff like that. And it's to me this year, the song that I have this year is more about just enjoying the song and singing, just singing to my heart's content. And you'll see that on the night of the March Gras. It's not like my song last year. My song last year, yes, I'm bringing a message again, but I wasn't singing like I usually sing. And this year, I think I'm more relaxed with this song.
Well, tell me about that a little bit now, because we've spoken about the song that you're singing this year, the song that you're singing this year.
Yes.
The name of the song is Focus.
Focus.
What are some of the things that led to you being able to do this song where you're more relaxed, you have more windows and opportunities to do runs and riffs? What are some of the things going into it?
Well, I think what I wanted to achieve really was to win the Calypso Monarch. That was always one of my dreams. I wanted to win the Calypso Monarch. And I did. So now I think it's just about enjoying it. Not saying I wasn't enjoying it before, but to enjoy it more now. And the reason I chose that topic is because I was on TikTok, and people were complaining and quarreling, and I was watching a video and a lady was talking about all sorts of things with the government and all these things. And I sat there and I was saying, but instead of focusing on that, why don't we as a people do something to change it? Because we could change it. And I say, but there's an idea. That's the Calypso for next year. And that's where I got the idea from. And when you hear the song and you listen to the melody of the song, it's very just relaxing and singable. And I think that's where the fun will come in.
Well, hopefully we have some more fun on the other side of the conversation. We are speaking with Tizia O'Connor. Stay with us, we return with more. Welcome back. We are speaking with the Junior Calypso Monarch 2018, first runner-up for Young Kings 2023, and in the big stage, in the ring as you call it, you take everything. 2023, the Calypso Monarch, Tizia O'Connor. And just before we took that break, Tizia, we were talking about, okay, hey, that's an idea. Let me deal with it. What is your creative process like? Is there one way that you go about getting songs, or how does something go from a spark to you performing it on stage?
I don't think there's one way. It happens so because the song that I got last year, that song was for, the song was written for me by Brian London, and I used it for the Independence competition. And I was supposed to get a new song for the March Gras, and I said, I could just use back this. Nothing is wrong with it. I could fix this up. And I went to my other composer, Larry Haywood, and I said, Larry, fix this up. We're using this back. And we use it, and it came. And this year's song, so it's never like I go through this particular route where I have to go by the composer, I get a song, or I write this song, or this happens in this order. It just happens. Creativity, I think creativity happens so in the spur of the moment.
And he just spoke about being able to use a song again. And it carries me back to the fact that earlier you said that you're not able to really kind of feel out, test the waters as it were with the judges, seeing what it is they're kind of looking for, how it is they're reacting to certain things. And it reminds me a little bit of what we've heard some comedians talking about, working with material before you say, all right, I have it now, and then you do your special. Are there things that you're looking for with the judges in terms of like, as well as the audience, that you're saying, okay, well, I could do this line a little differently, I could drop this punchline or put a little more emphasis on this word in this thing. What are some of the things that you're looking and fine-tuning while on stage performing your material?
Well, I use the tent for that. So when I sing in the Calypso tent, I look at the audience, and when I sing the song, so every night I sing the song, no 2 nights you could hear me sing the song and hear it sung the same. It would never sung the same, right? And so every night I would look at the audience, and I would sing certain lines, and I would look at them to see if there's any reaction. And if there's no reaction, I say, well, that line has to fix. Right? And it comes like an anchor. Most Calypsonians, when they sing in a Calypso tent, the validation for a Calypsonian, I think, would be to get an anchor in the tent. When you finish singing your song and the audience clapping to bring you back. That is most times a Calypsonian's validation to say, yes, my song doing good, right? And that's, I don't really use the anchor because the March Gras has no anchor. So I look at the reaction from the people. If they look like they understand it, some if they're looking at you like, what you're singing? You know, so that is where I get my little bits from. And
when you say fix a line, that line had a fix. Is it that it needs to write a little differently, or just the treatment and the delivery?
Sometimes you write it differently because you may say something one way and you say it a different way and people understand it better, or the delivery of the line, because sometimes a line may have a lot of words in it and you rush the words and the audience don't hear. So if you take your time and you fix the words and you say it properly, things are fine. Palm trees green, looks so low, don't you know? I keep working my way back.
Tweaking. How easy is it to tweak closer to like a judging point when judges coming in or on stage? You know, you have some people, the master, who want to talk about special verse,
yes,
or who want to do something after. But how easy is it, and do you feel pressure like, I had to make sure I deliver this with the sort of aplomb and energy that I've been doing everything else that is a little more rehearsed?
I think tweaking is as easy as good as your memory is, because if your memory is good, you can tweak up to the night of the performance. But if it's not good, you don't need to tweak anything.
No tweak.
You will forget. Like the March Gras last year, when I won the March Gras, if you listen to the recording of the song, and then you listen to my performance on the night of the March Gras, you can never put the words together and say it, because I always sing something different, always. I never ever sing the same song every time. Whether it's 1 word change or 2 words change, it's always something different.
And looking at something different, is Calypso the only lane that you find yourself in musically? Because when you talk about runs and riffs, that sends me to different genres one timer. So where where are other areas that you find comfort in, that you find you draw inspiration from, that you perform?
Well, I don't consider myself a calypsonian, right? Anybody that they say you're a calypsonian, I say no, I'm not a calypsonian. I am a singer that happened to sing calypso, because I sing all genres of music. I sing Latin music, I sing reggae, I sing calypso, I sing soca, I sing anything. As you can see in my concert, the Rubicon, I have a concert every year called the Rubicon, and I sing every genre of music you could think of in that concert.
Well, that's something I wanted to ask you, because I hear you go down in your toe to bust down a Richie Spice.
Mikey Spice.
Mikey Spice.
I am. Yes.
I say, hey,
that's the road, man.
The mic right here, but it coming out. But what is the inspiration for that? Because I think sometimes you find individuals, they say, okay, well, when someone has a concert, they'll invite me or commission me, have me as talent, versus saying, okay, well, I am going to actually take this in hand, and it will allow me to express myself the way that I want to in all facets, showing different ways. So a singer who also sings calypso. Why Rubicon?
The Rubicon, actually, I started with my band. I had a band by the name of Steam, and we used to have a concert by the name of Culture Fusion, right? And the reason for me starting concerts was because there are 15 other bands. Everybody can get booked on one show. There are 100+ singers in Trinidad. Everybody can get booked on one show. So I decided, why not have your own? It's always good to have your own instead of sitting down and waiting to see, well, I wonder if I'll get booked for this show, I wonder if they will call me to sing in this show. It is, to me, it's being lazy, right? So I decided I'm going to have my own concert, and the name of the concert is the Rubicon. I named it after, it's a car, the Rubicon is a car, and it's a car that can travel through any terrain. And there's also, the Rubicon was also used in 49 BC by Caesar when he crossed the Rubicon. And the Rubicon is a place that when you cross it, you don't look back. So I decided, that's the name I want to use.
I hear you now.
So I decided to have the Rubicon to showcase not only my talent, but other young persons that may not get a chance in many of the big concerts and the big shows that we see.
And that's one of the things I wanted to ask, what makes it different? So who are some of those people that you'd find or you have featured on episodes of past of the Rubicon?
I had Asian King Fraser, she's the Junior Monarch, she was the Junior Monarch. I had Charissa Camejo in Culture Fusion, when I used to have Culture Fusion. Oh God, there's so many people, I can't even remember the name. I had Ziggy Rankin in my concert, I had Karina, I had my father, I had a lot of people. It's always a good concert.
And I want to ask, what is next? Is it that we're going to see a resurgence of a band like Steam? Is it that you want to be doing more? Because I even look at the work that your father has been doing. I think it's since 2019. So the Ward Brothers, their space is no longer there, unfortunately. But Monarchs is there on the avenue. Is that something that inspires you to say, hey, are you doing that? Well, let me do something too. What's next?
No, well, I think everyone has their own lane, and that is his lane, right? And my lane, I love to do concerts. I love to put on concerts, and I am going to continue with the Rubicon. The next Rubicon is on May the 25th, so you can look out for that. But I am going to stick in the lane of putting on concerts and creating that platform for other young people that may not have the opportunity to sing on a big stage.
You have a favorite line in Focus?
Yes. The first two lines is my favorite lines.
And so we're not going to ask you to sing. What I will ask you to do is to pay attention, look for him the March Gras, look for him performing at Kaiso House. What days at Kaiso House?
From Wednesday to Saturday. From Wednesday here we have Judges Night.
You tell them too.
This Wednesday we have Judges Night, and we go on until the end of Carnival, Wednesday to Saturday.
And there you have it, Tazia O'Connor on In Depth with me, Dike Rostant. On behalf of the entire TTT News team, thank you so much for joining us.